Hola.
Hola.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing as I do every week. Wrong over there.
Hola.
Hola. How are you? Welcome. Actually, let me just do that. We'll get to the conversation bit in just a moment. Welcome to Women's Work podcast here on Expanded Understanding. My name is Angela Miller. This is the lovely Rossio. We have a very different show lined up for you this evening. And this evening, I have gone into a very different zone that I didn't expect to in between our conversation earlier. This week on Women's Work, we're going to be just discussing certain things that have been affecting us all in the collective this week, and in particular to do with the Lion's Gate. So I bring to you my Macawness, the sacred macaw. Thinking, what's she talking about? I'm bringing macaw energy, hence the shh.
That's good. That's good.
This is my pet bird, my spirit bird that was with me as a child. So today is a very special day for me. So I remember that bird in my heart because it protected me in my first year of my life.
Whoa.
And it had the same colours.
Oh. Now you understand.
She didn't look like that earlier. She looked normal.
Yes.
What happened to her? Well, here is complete authentic moments of shared joy. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. Rossio, did you want to talk about the Kinmaya?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here again. I love to be in this space. Yeah, and thank you very much. Yeah, to all for the invitation. Yeah, always I like. Oh well, yes. We are in the transit of the wave spell about the monkey. Yeah. So what is the monkey in what is the things that bring us this energy? Is about to remember us, yeah, that we need to be happy, yeah, that we it's not necessary that we take too serious the life, it's play, be happy, with the magician stuff that you have in yourself. This is a monkey wave spell for 13 days. Of course, we are living different energies like challenge for every day. Remember, these energies is like coming, landing in the way that see how is our reaction, how ready, how prepared we are. Yeah, because we are living these things in past times, in other days, no? So, for example, today is the magician wave spell. Now, what is the challenge in the magician is the no time. Is that the only thing value that we have right now is this moment, here and now. And with the influence of the monkey, is like enjoy it, be happy, laugh, look the things that make you feel good. And remember, like always says, that we have two sides in the life, in the way that we see the things that are around us. We decide if we are miserable, dramatic, and watch from the negative side, or we turn in and we look in the positive as we can see the life around us. Remember, this challenge about this torment here that we just begin is about that we have to accommodate, we have to fluid like the water to all the circumstances that come in, the difficult times that are in all the times, but it's specifically in these times. Yeah, how to we be as as real, but as positive, but at the same time, don't lose your dreams, don't lose your hopes, don't lose your plans, but live your here and now. Yeah. So the magician is about that. The magician that just we just finished that year, last 24th of July. Yeah. That influence, that let us the influence a little from that energy that we need to live the here and now. We need to take advantage of all the circumstances that we are living. How? Turning the things and watching the positive things of each one of the things that happen to you. Remember, it's an experience, it's a lesson, it's nothing wrong. It's just that we need to learn more things. And sometimes to happen that, we have to live some kind of experience, you know, like at school. So we need to have test or an exam, see if we learned the lesson before, you know. So this king of today, the magician, let us uh, together with the monkey spell, wave spell, yeah, is play with your magic, play with your own stuff that you have, play with uh, everything that is around, even something is not happening nice, yeah, it's just playing. And like was a play from in a theater, right? Oh, now we are gonna play this character, right? So every day from now, until this tournament wave spell finish, that means 24th of July from the next year, is the challenge. Sometimes up, sometimes down. But if we prepare ourselves in each one of the challenge and we take it from the positive way, yeah, it's not gonna be that strong. Now, the magician in this day is very strong, the magic stuff, the enjoy stuff, because remember that we are living exactly now the column of the King Maya, of the calendar. Okay, we are living exactly these days that they are in the middle, that together with the ones that are in black, yes, make that the energy be more stronger. For example, let's say that was stronger at 10%, now we are living the 30%, three times more stronger, more deep, more intense, let's say. Why? Because remember that all the dimensions are together. So the concentration of the energy is very, very strong. And this open the next thing that we are going to talk about this alienation with Sirius, right? Yeah, it's not.
Putting my mic on to come back for this moment.
Yeah,
Now, Rocio, you know yourself how strong this week has been for a lot of people.
yeah,
So we've got this magical day today where we're apparently able to recreate it all with the magic of monkey.
yeah. It's a 13 days for monkey that is give us like a little break inside of this column of intensity of different energies, you know. And this magic stuff is gonna let us or give pass for tomorrow. That this is the eagle,
Oh,
okay?
that's more
Tomorrow's
promising.
eagle.
That's
So,
definitely more promising.
oh yeah, but this thing about playing, this thing about he be happy, this thing about uh, taking the things like very soft, yeah,
Mhm.
is gonna give us the space to background, and then have the view, the general view of the situation that we are passing through, each one of us, yeah, from the point of view like eagle, other
Right.
in
I'm there.
general way. Is so the challenge tomorrow is try to be the no inside of the situation, but
Mm.
just take perspective, space in the way that you can see other things that you didn't see because we are inside of some circumstances, problems, whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just background, and you will have a general view, and this general view is gonna let you see with more detail, yeah, in some way. Oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
Mm.
Interesting, right?
It's
Each
very
part,
interesting because this Lion's Gate has been the absolute most difficult, hard-nosed,
yeah,
nose to the wall, nose to the grindstone, facing everything. Because
yeah,
the rays were coming in, right? This is my perception of it.
and
Of
magic things.
yeah, magic, but the intensity of the radiation at various points, I was crippled on the floor. I was at one point thinking, oh my God, I wish this would stop.
Yeah,
Please stop.
yeah,
And it was a whole, what it was doing is digging down. The beam was so penetrative that it literally was like a hacksaw into your experience, carving out everything. And what should have happened from the beginning of the Lion's Gate to the apex on the 8th is on the 8th, it would have reached its apex of intensity. I
yes.
tell you what, beautiful sunset, beautiful sundown. I have never wished for the sun to set. That was strong. And I was a mess by Saturday night.
Yeah, and I have a temazcal that day. That day,
That's right, you
I
did.
had a
Oh,
temazcal.
how was that?
I
How was
forgot to
that?
send you. Yeah, very well,
Mm.
very nice, but very intense. I feel inside the temazcal energies, no bad energies. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were
Mm.
like, what's going on here? You know, very interesting. In the fire, where they were a manifestation, because that day we have the people that were there. They have a kind of problem with definition about what line of the sex they following. Yeah.
Fascinating.
So remember that influence about Sirio in the planet. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
coming to move us from the of since the point of view of female energy, because Sirio represents that energy that coming from the universe. Yeah, and in the ancient times, the Egyptians says that Isis coming from Sirio, that represents the female,
I
sacred female energy, Isis. Yeah. So uh, that means that the energy, the female energy, coming to move emotions, and coming exactly to move that definition, like the people that I have. A woman that she doesn't know if she follow the line like a woman, or she became a more masculine energy in herself. So it was very
mm.
interesting. But also in the fire, there were a manifestation of beings, no nice beings, watching her. I will send you the
Oh,
picture. Oh,
this is
yes.
an example of what gets cleared in a 24 by the way. Can you just quickly go on to say more about this so people can know what to expect when, you know, when things are being cleared? What do you see?
Well,
Oh,
in this case, because they were a person, yeah, they were a mother, very, very, very Catholic, very Catholic. The daughter that was in this definition about, I just tell you, being woman or being with more masculine energy, and the other woman that was like a neutral, okay, but at the same time they belong a group of uh, people that there are mm, homosexual and lesbians, yeah. So I don't say that nothing about wrong or good or bad, whatever. Everybody decide to do with their ideas and body what they want. We have the free will in this world, right? But for it's interesting how the element fire, yeah, doesn't it's neutral, but at the same time was feeling that something was not right. You know, this is very interesting. The fire doesn't know what is one or what is other, right? But
Neutral.
in the moment that this twist thing between, I don't know if I'm woman or man, some way, the fire feels this twist thing and appear manifestation in the fire, watching this lady like very weird and no nice beings in the fire, huh? But they just watching this young woman. Yeah,
Yes. Wow.
very interesting. So when we go inside the Temazcal, the interesting other thing is my saumador, the place where I put the fire and the incense, just suddenly with a lot fire inside. It's incredible. I have a video there. So it's like, what happened? So everybody that was outside waiting for us was watching that the altar that I put there was illuminated with a lot fire. But from my container when I put the incense, yeah, the saumador we call, of Oposhkomir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a lot of manifestations that day. Yeah. So it's how we see inside this magic stuff because it's monkey, right? It's magic. Inside of this energy that we receive, yeah, this energy that we receive from Sirio, that is female, coming to help us to move, coming to help us to balance whatever else happened, give us to the sacred female that strength, right, to continue. For and it's important because we are mothers, lovers, uh, wives, sisters, whatever, grandmothers. So we receive that energy to be strength to help the others. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true, actually, because I got my new directives through the post.
That way, right?
We are full steam ahead at Women's at Work International. We are full steam ahead. So
wow.
It's going to get bigger, and I've been granted the full picture of how it's going to work. And the truth about women is now going to come out, about what we're capable of, how we do it, what they've tried to suppress from us, the true women's history. I'm very excited about this because it's so coincidental with the energies of now.
Yeah, exactly. And well, there will be the people that we are inside of these ceremonies, working with the elements, working with we are watching all the time the wind. We are watching the wind. Interesting, because you can watch it, but you can feel it, and then you can watch it. Yeah, and we are watching the water. Okay, the rain. How is moving the rain? How is moving this element in some way? How is moving the fire? What is the manifestation that the fire said is doing in a way that we say, well, something is wrong or something is protecting us? Yeah. In this case, when we go inside the Temazcal and this little fire that was in my altar was protection for me in some way because I was inside working with these people, right? So for me, it was a protection. Yeah, yeah, this is a dangerous thing sometimes for the people that we guide into Pascal because we really don't know who is inside, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you really don't until the heat has built up.
Yeah, you feel it. I was exhausted. And then there were 3 women only, but I was exhausted because they needed that energy, you know? There is chaos in their own way. Each one of them have their own chaos. Yeah. So yeah, I was working, but in the end, it's like I want to go quick. So I accelerate the process because I just want to go outside. I needed to go outside. Yeah. The most incredible, beautiful thing is that just a little time before we're going out, the rain begins to very beautiful. like cleaning, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Very
I love
strong.
Alan.
Yeah. Oh yes.
She
Nothing is
was on
more or
it.
less
Got
here.
it.
Yeah,
But
Malinalco is like that.
sorting it out here.
Very
That's it.
intense.
Job
Oh
done.
yes, it's very intense. When it's raining, it's raining. Yeah, when it's hot, it's very warm, right? So it's the energy. So also when the people that we live here and we have all kind of experience, they are very strong. No, they are not like this. No, it's like it's why a lot of people can live here. Yeah, they just go running from here.
Yeah.
The energy is very strong.
Yeah. The same for
When you
Glastonbury.
connect
Same
it.
for Glastonbury.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
everybody can survive in Glastonbury. Believe me. I'm a veteran.
It's the same. And it's female energy too, right? So the mom knows who is nice, who's a good child, and say, come on, welcome. Or says, no, I don't want you here. And they go out. Yeah, yeah, literal. Yeah. The people sometimes are coming and they begin to feel bad, headache, and until they're going out from this
Yeah.
town, they feel good. Literal.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I feel honoured actually that I just slotted in straight away. I feel honoured.
Yeah.
What is my mic?
You feel the energy when you be here. So, yeah, it's very strong.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
You can hear me. Just
Yes.
checking. Because
Yes.
it's like weird. We've got a lot of interference happening in the ethers, and there's a lot of electrical interference happening, dampening movement, and it's a lot, and it's affecting all the communications on the planet at the moment.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you might have a dodgy call on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or something.
Everything.
It's very interesting.
So if we disappear, now you know, okay? We promise back. Coming back, right?
Coming back, right back. Anyway, yeah, sorry, continue, my dear, continue.
So, well, this new portal from the Saturday that was open, not exactly the same day, could be some hours before during the day, but this portal was very strong. Yeah, this portal was because was this alienation again with Syria in Egypt, with this female energy, with this movement of emotions. Yeah, with this movement of the body. So some people was the stomach was bad, the headaches, the pain in the body. Yeah. So
detox element. I'm just like crying, thinking, where is all this coming from? You know,
yes,
before the show, bawling my eyes out.
Yes.
Thinking, I can't do it. Rossio's going to have to do it.
We are not crazy, believe me. It's an energy.
Job.
Yeah, it's energy that we are receiving in the planet that usually we receive it, but in this case, this time was very strong, very strong. So move everything. Everything moves, even the animals. It's very interesting. There is a dog around here from the other person that lives around here too, and she was like very dramatic. Believe me, when Oscar is my neighbor, just living. Usually she's rah, 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 because it's like why don't take me with you, right? The dog. But these days was like, believe me, was like crying the dog, female dog, by the way, but was like crying and just lay down like she was abandoned. And I say, don't worry, he's coming back. But so even the animals, yes, believe me, it's funny, even
sorry,
the
I thought you were talking about me. We talked about the solution for that dog.
Oh yeah.
Going crazy, and we We're allowing it to go crazy a little bit because it's my birthday, so we're just going crazy. Sorry. Continue.
Yes, I think there is something from Willow that says what? Historia has been repeated enough times. It is time for.
Oh, we've got
From Willow.
oh, story. The man's story. Story off. You couldn't make it up. You really couldn't make it up at all. So Willow says, history has been repeated enough times. It's time for her story. Absolutely. I so believe that. And this is going to be a process of bringing out this bit by bit information, because what it actually means is that you will know how to use your body as the super creative function that you are, that they've tried to suppress for eons because they knew we had it all going on. Shocking.
Yes.
The Facebook user is saying, talking about technical difficulties, I randomly got kicked off Facebook. Well, that happens all the time to me. Oh, it's going to go crazy. It's just got that vibe about it. Sorry, Rossio. We're just moving like this. We just got to keep with the river.
It's okay. If they want something, yeah. It's warm there?
Like you would not believe. In my kitchen, it's usually about 110 degrees, 100 to 110 degrees in summertime. We're south facing, so we get the sun all day, and it just heats up the whole place.
Yeah,
so I'm in
yeah.
Woo!
Well, I'll pass you some air because here is fresh. Nice. Ooh. Wow. It's gonna rain. Yeah, it's gonna rain. Yes. So yeah. So this thing about female is not only just for us like humans, for animals and for the Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's moving. Is you see there are seas, earthquakes everywhere. Yeah. So it's time. It's the Mother Earth is moving too.
And also, we've had a special new family member arrive this week, haven't we? Congratulations, Grandma.
Oh, yes, my granddaughter, Valentina. Oh, it's a beautiful bonbon. Yes, so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, it was born on Friday. Exactly. She was exactly the day on the monkey, the day when they begin the wave spell monkey. So she just come in to live the life and enjoyed it, happy with magician, magic stuff. Yeah, that would be very, very interesting kid. Very sweet. Very sweet. So yeah.
Oh.
So we like always, yeah, the advance is just relax, take it easy and enjoy it because we don't have other option.
No, we don't. Actually, we just got to get out with it. So I'm just going to open it up to anybody that wants to come in and sit with us and ask you any questions or ask me any questions or just talk if you want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, if you maybe have a Kinmaya question about Lionsgate energies of the now, perhaps Rossio can cast her knowledge upon that and maybe we can get some sort of insight.
Oh, yes. That would be very nice. That would be very nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and remember, if you want the interpretation of the Kinmaya, just contact me in Facebook. Yeah, and believe me, it's a very interesting thing to know in this time, exactly in these times. Yeah, because it's like a guide. It's like now with all this movement about everything, because everything is in movement. Yeah, we are losing the floor, but with this Kinmaya, help us a lot. You know, the energies, like a guide for every day. You know. Yeah. So there is a question, I think, or what says?
No, it's something from another show that I've got wrong.
Who knows why?
You'll come on. Aaron's going to come on. Okay, so I will send you that. Like maybe you can come in and stop that box from happening.
Oh, I tell you, everybody's moved. They don't know where are their eye.
Yeah. You know, I haven't got my glasses on. That's what it is. I can't actually see what I'm doing. It didn't go well with the makeup, so I had to not wear them. Okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting all the things that happen.
Yeah. Sorry, you continue there for a love. You continue. You had more to say.
Well, just that in these times it's very important to connect with ourselves. It's time always to these reflections about uh, for all the things that happen. Stop us. We stop. We are making a stop in the life and checking what we doing before. Yeah, how we doing that now? How can I do better with all the things that I already have around me, with the tools, with the people, with the circumstances,
Mm,
or the help that I can ask, for example. Yeah, it's time to decide in our lives. Well, should I continue by this line that I'm doing, or maybe change, make a little change in my life? You know, maybe some people is in the comfort zone and say, "No, I'm okay here. I don't want to move from here," right? But it's important sometimes move that reality to explore, to to know other things, yeah, to explore other energies, to discover how can we bring the things from the universe to landing here. How can we use, or how can we take advantage of from the energy of the mother earth, of the elements on each one of the things that we have around. So it's time, exactly, is the time. And maybe we repeat this a lot, but we forget. you know Sometimes we listen something, or we hear something past time, and we forget it. So now it's time again. Okay, what I have to do, how can I do it? In this case, is to help myself to evolve. Yeah, to evolve, to go to the next step, to um, to make that all the energy that is around me, yeah, make it better too. How can I improve my relationship with everybody that I have around me, with my family, with my partners, with everybody? Yeah, and everything is inside of us. Yeah, nothing is outside. No guide, nothing. Everything is inside. We use only the external tools to let us discover, to let us know what happened in our own energy. Yeah, and discover this two duality that we have. We are not only light, yeah. We are living in this duality moment, earth, dimension, where there is the black and white, where is the up and down, yeah, one side or the other. So how can I balance these things? How can I balance all this energy that is coming inside from my heart, yeah, from my relationships, with my work, with my love, yeah, all my relationships, how are they? What can I do to do it, to improve and make them better? No. So this is the time, exactly. And we sometimes miss time doing other things that don't take us anywhere, or is not useful for us. So the idea is to separate these things and to make more uh, utile the time that we have in the life, each moment of our lives. It's valid, of course, that sometimes you don't do nothing. You just sit down and watch the sky and enjoy the wind, and maybe just watching a nice movie. Why not? Yeah, but enjoy that, exactly that moment. Yeah, so this is important, my dear Angie, about that. No, so well, in this time, exactly what the woman is in movement too, because all that energy, because the change of the lives of everything, we need this space to for us, yeah, to going inside. What we doing for us? Because we are like women, we are doing for the kids, right? For the husband, for the boyfriend, for everybody. But sometimes we forget ourselves.
Yes, that's true, actually. And that actually came up in my awareness earlier because when I am on purpose and on track, I forget about everything,
Yeah,
including myself.
yeah.
And it's very often that I will just absolutely hammer myself and keep going and keep going and keep going with purpose and forget that I actually existed now. You know?
Yeah, we don't have, like I said before, we don't have
Oh,
options. Yeah. Hey!
hello, dear. How are
Oh,
you?
hi. I came on right away. Nice.
You're
Hello.
You're already
technical
there.
authority control.
Oh, watch, Ange, I'll do something fancy with your stream. All right, see the background?
Go on.
We're gonna change it to three-person conversation. Ah, look at
Oh,
that.
beautiful. Wow.
No,
We'll,
so
we'll,
No,
fig-
not
we'll figure
me.
it out eventually, Ange.
Yeah, I just need to pay
beautiful.
attention. Yeah,
Hi,
so
Rocio. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too, and do that you enjoyed us.
yeah,
It's always nice to talk with you guys. It's like talking with my grandmas. It's great.
love, bless her that, love, bless her that.
Oh, you know what it is. It's embodying the Mother Earth grandmother thing. It's a positive thing. It's a
All right,
compliment.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still always my older sister, Ange. That'll always be true. You just have the unique ability to also be mother and grandmother and embody the earth in that way. So that's super compliment.
Wow.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's
Wow.
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a lot of responsibility, you know, a lot of responsibility. For example, I say, Angela, my granddaughter was born last Friday. Okay,
Yay.
so in the moment that I know that was coming, I was thinking, and I make a meditation, trying to connect her, and I say, in this moment, I promise not let you some karma that I have to resolve by myself. You know, I did. So it's like liberate her, like my granddaughter, yeah, about karmas that they are mine, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every grandparent.
So coming that intuition to do it, and I was doing exactly that, liberate her about karmas that I'm not gonna want that she has, right? For any reason. So I take responsibility for my own actions to resolve them in this life.
Exactly. And it's taking responsibility for your own lineage, your own children, your parents, as an awake person at the center, apex, contract holder, mature person in your lineage. Bloody fascinating. But it was really, when you told me about that, it again reflects one of the wisdoms that women do not know about, that they can do that.
How would you contrast? So the concept you're talking about. So I remember becoming aware of. I mean, this is back, 10 years ago. I mean, understanding my authority over my DNA, over my ancestry, over my lineage. And I remember having a conversation with my dad. And there was just a generational struggle that was coming up in his life, that was in my life and our lives. And I realized it was there ancestrally through his dad and our families, and something he was struggling with. And it was a conversation in tears, just letting him know, like, that ends with me, Dad. Like, I have to. It has to end with me, and that's my actions and behaviors. But that's also etherical and prayers and a lot of those dynamics. But how would you contrast the difference between the way a woman with a womb and that whole different physiological dynamic allows women to access their DNA differently than men?
Yeah. So that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. So the womb is this, I just want to, I'm going to, it's going to be interesting as I access the words with this. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Anyway, so
you taught me. You're teaching me to be a good question asker, Ange. They're very well at it.
Yeah.
Right. So when we think about our wombs as an operational functional force, right? So the womb is connected there to the sacral area, the sacral chakra, responsible for creativity, relationships, emotions, how you feel, what you take in as a woman to naturally transmute as a universal biological force. So you have this universal biological force in between your hips. Wow. So what do you do with that? How does it function? Does it hurt to function as a universal magical force, or does it flow freely? And every woman has this journey with that process within them. So the more negative impact, negative emotions, negative experiences, traumas we have in the womb area, then that blocks us as women as a biological force of nature that allows us to connect into Earth's dreaming mind and literally dream with her harmoniously as one, as a seventh seed dimensional planet. So when you start talking about your womb is planetary, wow. Your womb is able to do what Earth does.
What would you say some of the biggest impacts are? So made me think of the sacral chakra being connected to the womb also, and then energetically the male womb and that dynamic also. If it's connected to the sacral, then I imagine that sexual traumas and anything related to that paradigm really hinders even the dream world and connection to Earth.
Yes, exactly. So when you've got compaction, life after life of experiences that may not be positive, that may be trauma at the very core of it, is going to have a residual impact in the way you function, live and breathe as a woman or a man. But in this particular case, we're talking about the womb. So the womb will misfunction. Your egg quality will be reduced. So then you begin to bring through children that maybe don't have the stronger DNA makeup because it doesn't have the full potential of the child, the energy to the child behind it. And that's shocking, but it's the truth. Not many people might want to hear, but it's really handy for parents who have not conceived yet to actually take on that responsibility of improving your reproductive functions, cleansing them of all these frequencies before you engage in the act of having a child. And then it just changes it. It changes the outcome for the child, but also, it's also in its generational makeup. But it becomes kind of resistant to the traumas of the past because it's superseded it with light.
For the women who weren't thinking that way or engaging that way before they had a child, what are some ways they can engage with their child after birth to help clear those traumas and clear those frequencies?
First thing, within 6 weeks, craniosacral therapy for the baby and the mother. And do that. I would do that for a period of 3 months, once a week. Just go and reset everything.
On a quick note, definitely say more, but now that you said that, it reminds me. So it was from Andrew Bartz's teachings on craniosacral and also from birth. I was one of, was it 4% or 0.4%, really small, that they used forceps on me to get me out. They had to break my collarbone because my shoulders were too big coming out. Mm-hmm. And so I've done, because of that, he's talked about craniosacral being one of the biggest things to realign. There's your craniosacral pulse and the whole even aura from that's separate than your normal heart and brain aura and all those other dynamics. So there's definitely alignments there that I've done a lot of craniosacral. That and float tanks have been massively helpful, I feel like, for integrating those.
Yeah, exactly. What happened there? Because I was born by forceps. Me too. They damaged all my hair. This was damaged and all my hair was, because they thought that I was dead already inside. So they didn't take care how bring me out because they thought that I was dead. So the idea just take me out. So they make a lot of damage. So But thank God that this is an interesting thing. I have this experience that when I was growing up, I watched people dead. I found ghosts. I was talking with them. Yeah, when I was a kid. You too. Wow, interesting. So my mother was scared because there is a fountain and at home. Yeah. So I was talking with something, and my mother says, "Who are you talking with?" I said, with the lady. And my mother says, "Which lady?" I said, "This one is sit down here." Nobody was there. Well, was there, but my mother couldn't see. Yeah. And I know exactly when somebody's gonna knock the door 5 minutes before or something. And I was in the other side of the door watching. Yeah. And my mother said, "What you doing there?" I say, "Somebody's coming to knock the door." And my mother says, "You're crazy." I know exactly. 3 minutes later, tick, tock, 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 somebody was arriving. Yeah. But this is
Yeah.
interesting thing. All that with people that we were born in that way move. I think this is my theory. In the moment that they put this thing and bring you out, yeah,
Oh,
they move something inside that wake you up or move
mm.
something that you have disabilities.
It is intended that way. I have to say this in all truth. The birth process has been taken away from women to have their births naturally. We've talked about this before, but it's actual the mechanical process of lifting a skull, yanking it out, disrupts the spinal column and the vagus nerve, which is really key. So babies who have trauma often will get colic at 6 weeks. Their stomachs are hurting them, they're distended, they can't feed, they have trouble going to the toilet. There's only certain ways you can hold them to alleviate that stomach ache. And it was such a common thing for babies that were born in hospital. I would see them and treat them, or just even hold them in specific pose while healing the gut and realigning the vagus nerve with those connections so that the gut brain axis is firing on all cylinders. Now,
Yeah.
if you've got things like disjoint, like what Aaron's talking about with a disjointed, disconnected sternum here, that had a huge impact on him growing up with his own natural energy dynamics. And then, because generally society is not geared up to handle birth trauma at all, everything's mismanaged in a completely, constructed way. We know this, it's the construct. But it was designed to target this process so our generations are weak.
Interesting, right?
But
Now,
we are not weak.
yeah, it's coming a lot of things to my mind. This is when you are born in the natural way.
Yeah.
Now, what happened with the kid that for any circumstances is born by cesarean?
Yeah, different. See, exactly. So
That
but
kid,
it
the
is
interest,
different.
that kid has, I was doing the statistic, yeah,
Mm.
that kid has more security in themselves. I don't know why. Maybe because he didn't suffer to come in, or I don't know, but they are very
Contractual
there.
difference.
I don't know why.
There is a contractual difference, but I will say that a natural birth over a C-section, the child with a natural birth coming through the birth canal has this sense of push. I must make it into the world. This impetus, this momentum, because it wants to come through.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
also, and if you guys will tolerate me trying to process out what it's like for birth and birth trauma, because I've only been on the receiving end, not on the giving end. But the dynamic too, reading Janice Barcelo's work on birth traumas, and that's the whole system. I mean, I've talked about this before, I think, but it's one of the only books that I've thrown against the wall because I was so angry reading just what's done through the medical system and how it causes trauma. And I mean, one of the dynamics, and this isn't judgment, again, preface all this, this isn't judgment on anyone who, however they've done the birth process. I imagine every mother has done the birth process to the best of their ability, the best way they possibly can, the best way they know how, intuitively, from our education system, our medical system. Of course, absolutely. That being said, there's a lot of misunderstandings that I've come to understand in our medical system. And so like when the mother's taking epidural, it can disconnect the mother psychically from the baby. So then the baby's going through this trauma of being pushed through the birth canal, but they're no longer connected to their mother in the same way, which can also, it seems to me, add that fear of abandonment. I mean, from a young age, that fear of failure, that fear of being left behind or being alone or being cut off. And I mean, a lot of other dynamics that happen. I mean, they even show that in the womb, the egg will drop farther and farther down the uterus if there's rejection, if it's not wanted, which can cause even a growth neurologically. I mean, from that fundamental level of knowing when you come out in the first 3 years, 3 months at least, there's no words. So it's just trauma in a very amorphous form. So it's not about talking it out sometimes. It's like we were talking about the cranial sacral, different entheogenic experiences or things where you can even amorphously process those traumas.
And also myofascial releases or some sort of somatic release in the area, because, the actual physical impacts from all kinds of interventions, let's say, are absolutely devastating to the baby and mother. And it is really underestimated, and I can't say that enough. Anyway, I'm all serious now. I'm all serious because I'm talking about the thing I love.
No, it's very nice. It's very interesting. Yeah.
It is, and we are on this earth. I'm going to get right on my platform here. We are on this earth. Okay, we have plants around us, wherever they are. We have alive
all over Rossio.
yeah, more so there. Yeah, we've got nothing in Britain anymore. The land is raped, literally. So we have all these wonderful bounty gifts from the planet just here with us, supporting our lives, supporting our births, and then this desensitization of who we really are, by assuming that it's okay to affect the womb of a woman. Now, something that we were talking about actually on a planetary perspective earlier on in the week, we were talking about that explosion, weren't we? There was that explosion in the Lebanon. Do you remember seeing that on the mainstream bullshit brigade media? Do you remember that?
Oh, I saw it in a lot of links and a lot of videos. Did you see that, Rossio?
No.
Oh, Rossio, Lebanon.
Oh, yeah, I know the explosion happened. Yeah. I see it.
So,
but,
what I've been thinking about is what kind of effects do we have as naughty children on the mother? What kind of effects do we have as beings to our mother? What does she show us? What does she tell us about the way we live? How does she try and guide us? And why the bloody hell don't her children listen? What is wrong with her children?
I want to hear from Rossio on that one.
Yeah. Sorry, Rossio, I'm getting all tough because I'm feeling the fire of this movement strongly in me. And Mother Earth, I'm trying to think about Mother Earth as a celestial entity. She has all these children, us, 7.5 million light forms of children on the planet, right? And the largest proportion of those children, 95% of them, are an absolute pain in the ass. They're the worst children you could imagine.
You said million, you meant billion, right? On the planet?
I meant
7.5 million. I think we're almost 8. I think we're almost 8 billion.
8 billion. 8 billion people on the planet. Right. So what proportion of those people are awake, congruent, in harmony with Earth? What percentage of 8 billion people?
Few.
Yeah. Oh, okay. In Mother Earth's growth as a celestial female spirit, what happens to that relationship with her children? The naughty ones, the ones that don't do as they're told. What happens to them? Well, Willow says, I'm listening to Willow because she's my elder.
What she says?
She said, Mother Earth seems tired. I think we should be more considerate towards her. And it's true. I wonder what Mother Earth mother. We talked about this before, Aaron. Mother Earth's mother, grandmother Earth. How does grandmother think? What does she think of the grandchildren?
Rossio.
Aaron?
She's going crazy. What's going on?
You asked me a grandmother question. There's no way I'm answering that first.
Yeah, Rossio, your grandmother got to answer that. What does grandmother think of the way Earth raises her children?
Wow.
Go cosmic, girl. Go cosmic. Reach out. Cosmic Rossio.
Well, I think that but this time, the Mother Earth never imagined in some way, I never feel that all this mass of people is gonna be here, and how all these beautiful energies that come in to help the Mother Earth, yeah, that I try to move in the way that we try to wake up in conscious way, you know, and sometimes it's doing in difficult way, like earthquakes, right, torments, physical stuff, and see if the humans wake up in some way, you know. It's like the mother coming and doing some spankies to the kid because he's doing something bad, you know. So
if the mother's spanking the kids, what is grandmother doing to the kids? Or how is she talking to the kids?
well, the grandmother is there are two yes, there are two faces in the grandmothers. The grandmother that tried to transmit the wisdom to the kids because she has more knowledge, because the time, because the age, yeah, and transmit like in a lot ancient tribes here in Mexico. The kids until some age they became and going to live with the grandfather and grandmother to learn the wisdom things about the nature, about the things, and the other grandmothers that just overprotect the kids, yeah. So depending the wisdom or the knowledge that the grandmothers have and the preparation, because we were talking about in the morning about the preparation about in the mind of people, yeah, in the morning. It's very important to prepare. It's very important to research wherever you want, is to let it go, that ignorance, you know. This is the word, dependent of the ignorance of the wisdom from the grandmothers. No, all of them are the same. So some of
So
them.
the children aren't listening to the elders.
Pardon?
The children aren't listening to the elders.
No, but the grandmother is very lovely, you know. The grandmother, the love, even this, the love that you have for your kid and from your grandkid is different. It's love, but for your kid, it's something that you are responsible for him, you know, or for her. But the grandmother, you are not responsible for the education of them. So your love is more like more free, yeah, with that responsibility, because you have to educate that kid, and the grandmother don't have to educate the kid. Just give him love. Give love.
Wow.
This is the grandmother um, um situation, yes. You, like grandmother, only give love to your kids. That's it. Wisdom, a good advance, yeah. pet because you don't have the responsibility to educate them. The education is for the father and the mother, right? So when you are grandmother, you lose that control about it, you know? So it's more freedom. And it's another kind of love. It's beautiful. It's, well, how can I explain you? I have other grandson, 11 years old, Santi, and he's with me very attached in some way, you know, because he loved the nature, and he says that the grandmother is magic. Yeah, I am magic, and says to the friends, my grandma can talk with the birds. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's fascinated, right? My grandmother can talk with the trees because he's that kind of kid, right? Because other kids there don't pay attention, but it's again, is the things that they see what you're doing, like grandmother or grandfather. Yeah, my grandson see things that I doing is like, wow, my grandmother is magic, right? So they love that stuff. So this is the magic connection between grandmother with the granddaughter or grandson. It's very magic, that connection. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, very. It's
I
beautiful.
can only imagine. You're right.
Maybe
So
once upon a time.
So that okay. I'm really glad you went first for a lot of reasons, but now I know I'm right that you went first. Like that's how that's supposed to go. I mean, just like that's why, because the grandmothers and the mothers and honoring the elders and like the dynamic of the conversation, it matters the order in which the expression is shared. You know, and the way that you shared that, Rossi, was beautiful, and that really connected a lot of things for me, and even the dynamic of ayahuasca. In most traditions being grandmother, not mother. You know, but many have encountered her as mother, and that's interesting. In my own relationship with my mother and my grandmother, and the love that my grandmother carries, which I've talked about many times, I think, on our show, that I'll talk to her in the last year and a half since I've really reconnected with her and been able to share all these things I've learned. And I'll just talk and talk and talk. And she told me one time, that she goes, you know, half the time I don't even understand what you're saying, but it really makes me really happy to see how happy you are, or like how excited and how happy you are saying it, you know?
Oh.
And so that love of the grandmother, just like, and mom would be out too, but she's more engaged with me, like in the conversation, and she understands what I'm saying. And we talk about it kind of like peers, you know? But a grandmother's is different. Grandmother always gets the best seat in the living room, wherever she wants to sit. Like grandma gets, you know, grandma's grandma. She's magic.
Yeah.
You know, she's love. She's just something my brother said to me recently when we were hanging out. We don't get to hang out too often. When we do, it's awesome. We hang out for 8, 10, 12 hours and have great conversations. And our grandma came up and he said, I effing love that woman. I will love her till the day she dies. That woman has loved me like no other being on this planet has loved me. And like, I don't know, but I love that woman. And there's no one who loves like grandma. You know, he's talking about our grandma.
And
it
even
was just, it's really,
uh-huh.
Go ahead.
You can talk with your grandmother, and you are sure that if you tell her a secret, she will keep it that secret, that something like a treasure, you know, and never is gonna criticize you and Jewish in any way. Yeah. Because the grandmother is something like that. You can make things and complice, you know. I just remember one day that Santi was 3 years old, something. The mother and the father going to the movie and said, "We coming back. We're going to the movie." And he said, "Yeah, okay." So they closed the door and he opened the curtain in the to see in the window. When they saw that the car just go, he says, "Grandma, guess what?" And I said, "What?" "I know where my mother has chocolates." Yeah. And I said, "Really?" "And good ones." I said, "Okay." So he just going on top the things, and a little jar coming, bring the jar, and then, but look what he says. "But just one, okay?" I said, "Okay." So he gave me one. He took only one, and put the jar in the same place. So when the mother and the father coming, and opened the door, and he was watching the movie like nothing happened, right? And the mother says, you was a good boy, right? I say, yeah, yeah. And he watched me and make this beautiful smile, like complice. Oh, so was beautiful, right? There are moments of that with the mother is not the same, no? It's just, I'm fascinated, and I hopefully I can have my visa again because it's already expired, but there are no offices open, so I couldn't renew my visa. So I couldn't be. She lives in Utah, my daughter.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be there. Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
But that's amazing. I mean, for him to have those stories with his grandmother, I mean, that's everything. That's being able through you, and that's you clearing your trauma. And that's you doing the work for you so that you can love him in a way that he'll remember for the rest of his life, that will lead him into life knowing that he is loved, and not just by you, but by his ancestors and by the earth.
Yeah.
Because of you, because of the way you've loved him in those ways. And his parents too, I'm sure, but those very unique to you, especially as a grandmother, because you carry that energy and that dynamic specifically, and in the love that you showed him. It's really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for existing.
It's beautiful, and I have other stories, right? That when he was kid, what he's doing in his innocent things, and I like this one. It's quick. We were watching Toy Story, the first one.
Yeah.
Remember that part when they go into this burning all the toys, and they begin to hanging like
Toy Story 3. I remember it very vividly. It kind of traumatized me. Yeah, it was a little intense. They accepted their fate, and we're going into the hellfires to die together.
They begin to be like protecting and handing one to the other, like, well, we are gonna die here together, right?
Yeah.
And in that moment, my grandson watch me and give me the hand and touch me and close the eyes, like in the movie. Like, wow, it's so beautiful. He was little. It's like, wow. He was living the thing in the movie, right? And touch my hand very strong and close the eyes, like, okay, we are gonna die together here in the movie, right? But it's other beautiful thing,
It's interesting. Okay, so like, I don't know if this is what you're alluding to, but a facet of that, and my own experiences with my own grandmother. So him showing that as a man, I don't know how uncommon it is in that culture at that age, but showing physical affection, being able to cry and hold his grandma's hand. There's times now, my grandma on the couch, like when we're talking, if I'm next to her, she uses her hands to talk a bit, but I feel like she's kind of groping for my arm, and so I give it to her, and then she holds my hand or holds my arm, and I hold her hand. But like it was like I don't know if it was a subconscious thing. I don't think she's doing it consciously, but it just dawned on me tuning into them, like, oh, like that would be nice. Like I hadn't thought about that. It's not like I do hold my grandma's hand all the time, or I don't sit next to her like and hold her hand very often ever. But it was really nice when we did, and I was like, I don't know if she wanted that or if I needed that or both, or it's just, but it's nice the human contact and that actual connection, and and I've had that, but with my grandma and my mom and stuff over life, been more around physical affection in healthy ways, and so I've grown up in that and been in tune with that, and then my left and right brain and my whole kin Maya dynamic. I mean, whatever. My left and right brain have been working together. Was it 1% of 12% of the population? My left and right brain hemispheres work simultaneously since birth, and in a balanced way or something. And so I've been able to be more in touch, I guess, with the emotions and the physical connection and things in a way that was just sensual and healthy. It wasn't anything. Because there's people in culture that are really, can be really homophobic, or guys, about touching or physical touch. And like by the time I got to college, a lot of that was kind of moved out of cultures. Guys were really like touchy just to be fun or whatever, and like it was different. But it's not like I think it's India or in some of the Middle Eastern countries where the men will hold hands walking down the street, and that's normal, and they grow up like that. So it's never been like that in the culture here. But I remember also with kids, I was thinking about the dynamic of kids. So then this ties back into the story with and the theater with your grandson and him holding your hand and like knowing how to hold that energy as a grandmother for him in that space. And I think through my interactions with my grandmother, like I did a kids camp a long time ago that for some of the most abused and neglected kids in the area. It's a camp that's in like 250 countries, and it's amazing. They give them a week of the most amazing weeks of their lives, have pictures taken of them. Some of them have pictures to take home with them to they get birthday parties thrown for a birthday party, and realize kids have never had birthday parties. I mean, these kids were kicked out of the other camps because they were such bad kids, you know, but it's because of the dynamics they came from. And this one boy in one of the camps, he was on I think he was 8 years old, but man, he was loud and obnoxious and doing everything he could to not follow the rules and make everything difficult. And for the first 2 days, I think it was just nonstop. I mean, we had to find all these new ways to like just try to deal with him, because the point is, like, a lot of times the kids focus on having fun, but he was really focused on making everybody hate him for whatever reason, and just being incredibly obnoxious. And after the second day, we were having him clean up the room. We had the other kids outside, and we were having him pick up his bed and try and do all that, and trying to play games with him or get him to do it. And he said all these things, awful things, whatever. And we don't react to it. We don't react to anything but kindness or whatever. We're there to be counselors, but there's certain guidelines they got to follow. And so it's this in between space. And he got really quiet on his bed, and he said, "You guys hate me, don't you?" And we said, "No." He asked us. He thought we hated him because of how bad he was being. And we never said that. He just said that. And they said, "No, we love you, man. Like, we're just trying to have fun with you. And if you do this stuff, we can go have fun." And like, you know, that made sense to him. So we started cleaning up his stuff, and we made game out of it, made like whatever. And we were having fun with him. And then from that point forward, though, when we'd walk places, he'd hold my hand, because when we'd walk places, you know, he went from totally hates everybody problem to like, he'd hold my hand, and he was the best kid the whole rest of the week. He had a great time. Like, no, you know, it's just like, so a lot of kids at that age that your grandson got, like, they don't get that kind of positive affection. You know, it's usually negative physical touch. And so to get that positive physical touch through other humans, and I say all this because it starts with the grandmother, you know, from the grandmother being able to touch the children, the grandchildren in ways that are healing, and they bring the energy of the ancestors through everything instead of physical abuse or neglect or not being touched. You know, that's almost worse.
And you know what I noticed? That this special relationship is between grandma and the grandson. And it's not happening between grandpa and the granddaughter. It's not happening. It's just special between grandmother and the grandson. This connection, female, masculine, but female grandma and the son, you know. It's not the same as the grandfather and granddaughter.
Right.
It's not happening in that way. This is the magic thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What do you interesting.
Yeah. For example, I imagine that I will have a beautiful relationship with my granddaughter, but never will be like I have with Santi. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
What do you think is important for the men or the grandsons to understand on Earth right now?
I think that just like sacred masculine is following the female energy always in like something special, you know. The kid is following the mother, for example, and the female, the daughter, is more independent in that, because it's already female, you know. They have their own power, their own thing, and the man the masculine it's still like following or looks for that image of female special stuff. And I think that's the reason why the men, when they are begin to looking for a girlfriend, or companion, or even a wife, always they have to like some image in the mind, how should be that woman in some way, you know? Because they have like their own goddess in some way, you know. And this is a way why the grandmother with the grandson is this connection, I think.
So would you say, my understanding of, or the way I see women in certain ways, and I guess people too, just in general, but I was married for a long time, and I took on the perspective of seeing every possible beautiful good thing that she's made of in this lifetime or any other. I didn't really, at that time, we hadn't really thought about other lifetimes, or I'd experienced certain things actually over time. And so I then have visions of us in other lifetimes, other interactions we've had, and the dynamics that are present now, but the trauma overlays that are there, and trying to hold space for that and help her to heal in certain things. And, but always seeing her as the reason I made it through that marriage. It was a 10-year marriage. It was a long time, and so the reason I made it through and left only when I needed to continue to grow as a person, and my growing hurt her, because she didn't want to go that direction, and so it was better for both of us, and she would agree, and at this point. And so, but until then, though, I always was looking for ways for her to be her in whatever way she needed to expand into, because I knew within her, and within a woman especially, and having that much time to spend with a person and study them and honor them, or like try to discover them, to get to know them, like, because I don't know if she knows, but I feel like there's a space inside of her that, man, if you could hold that space, or if I could find a way to hold space for her, to let that unfold, then there's so much within women, and at the age that we're going into, and Tiamat and woman and earth and grandmother, like, I'm following that leader, if you will. I mean, I'm following my own soul, but like where the direction is on earth and the energies and whatever, it's through women. And I think a lot of women are so disconnected from themselves that they don't even know how to find that space within themselves very often, or they can't hold it for very long. And to be fair, it's because I think, like you're saying, the men don't know how to perceive them correctly. They've never held space for them that way. They've been abusive to them in that space, or neglectful.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, it's fascinating, this kind of things, because we are discovering more and more things, that there is a relationship, just normal, grandmother, grandson, but the connection, even in telepathic way, even in energetic way, and sometimes the same things that likes the grandmother likes the grandson. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very, very interesting. Yeah, so that is beautiful. So that's nice that you enjoy with your grandma too.
Yeah, she's a pretty cool lady.
Yeah, I imagine.
I like her a lot. Yeah, I like her a lot. She's fun. She's very witty. So like, I don't know how that. Do you understand witty? Like, there's nuances to witty. Does that translate? And when someone is witty versus funny, not funny. Witty is like being smart, funny, like really quick.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
someone makes.
Yeah.
So like really quick and funny with things, and she's really smart, and
she knows what to say in the moment, in the right moment.
Yes.
That's very nice.
And funny things too, just like funny things too. So yeah, she's great.
Oh, that's good. Where is Angela? Angela, you're there?
Yeah, Angela, where'd you go? She's putting hearts up on the screen, but she disappeared.
Yeah.
She's looks like she's crying. Her and Willow are having moments.
Yeah.
And Maya, hi Maya Rose. I hope you got the sound figured out.
Ah, there you are.
Making a cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that your go-to British excuse? Get out of here every time. I was making a cup. Oh, everybody applies that. She's got the British accent.
That would be, I'm just walking the dog.
All right.
Oh, okay.
But you never find me walking the dog anymore.
So I have a question, my lovely.
Oh, remember that.
What do you think is what we were talking about? What do you think that there is this magic thing between the relationship with grandmother and grandson that is not happening with grandfather and granddaughter? What do you think in the female experience that you know?
Yes. So for grandfather, it's a question of holding space. It's a very sacred space. It's a position of wisdom and being fixed and loving and present. When I think, because I never really knew my grandfathers as such, so I don't have that benchmark to go by.
Neither do I, so it's a big question.
Yeah. But the grandfather I do have, actually, grandfather San Pedro, he showed me what it was like to have a grandfather.
Oh, okay.
When was that? Was that your? Sorry, was that in Barbados, or had you done it before that?
No, Barbados.
Wow, because that was my first time too. My first entheogen experience or plant medicine was San Pedro. So please continue.
Yeah, so it was this feeling and learning of, it was a very masculine presence. And it was fun. Grandmother could be strict in my medicine world. Sometimes she's better. No, she's been good all the time. Can't fault her. Anyway, but grandfather San Pedro provided this element of fun and relaxedness that grandmother may not have due to her life cycle. But it was always a position of understanding and understanding the children and what their needs were. So for me, that the learning about the grandfather presence was really kind of, it was very deep rooted and expansive, but yet here in a very loving way. That was my experience of grandfather. So I'm blessed to have that experience, actually, because that showed me the true quality of what it meant to be a grandfather. So when I see grandfathers, I see all these qualities of that around them, but it's different to grandmother. Grandmother has more of a responsibility. She has a responsibility because this is her lineage we're talking about. Right? She wants, it was hard enough for her bringing up the children on her own. Right? And I'm making reference to Earth with all these fleeting fathers, as we've discussed before. So this relationship of grandmother to grandson is one of transmission of her wisdom to her grandson, who's going to be the grandfather, the male version of herself, depending on which element the grandchild came through. If it's the maternal, like in your situation, Aaron, with your lovely grandma, and Santi, they're your progeny. They were in your body. With your child.
Yes. Yeah.
They were the egg in your body. So you have this deep affection, but you're not raising them. It's fascinating, but it's this deep transmission of maternal wisdom.
Yes.
The movement flowing of those wonderful qualities of experiences of life that we hold.
Yeah, because we, like mother, we transmit to the daughters, yes, the eggs, part of our eggs. In that eggs, there are the grandson, in this case, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
it's interesting.
Go on.
Go ahead.
No.
What I think Will said here, she said, I think it's a generational thing too. Some generations experience less trauma collectively, making holding space for each other and space and other such things easier. Totally. And that's why we got to figure this stuff out, because the sooner we do, the less traumatized the generation will be, starting with us.
It's true. The only living memory I have of my mother's grandmother was her treating a wound from a field, in a tropical field, in a tropical destination. And the woman poured boiling hot water on my ankle.
Oh.
Traumatized more than the cut itself.
No, but it's to be, I think that to have grandmother and grandfather, or one of them at least, it's lucky. Yeah, I didn't have any so I don't know that experience too.
Yeah, same.
And
so that was.
I haven't. It's interesting. I haven't talked about my grandpa. I could talk about my grandpas if you want, since we're on the subject.
Yeah, grandpa qualities.
Yeah. So I have two grandfathers that have been in my life my entire life. Both of them, they've done life, so there's a settledness about them because they've already done life. They're in retirement or whatever that means. They've already done the career, the kids have kids, the grandkids are adults, or becoming adults. My interaction with them is just in my late teens, early 20s, and even now my 30s. The conversations are, both of them, they've both been very relaxed for the most part. Just because like whatever, I feel like they didn't grow bitter, they grew content and happy, and so they have lots of wisdom to share. Always stories, always stories, which are great. Just always stories. And one of my grandpas, they're both funny in their own ways. One of my other grandpas is really funny, and he's always telling jokes and funny ways. And they're both spiritual in their own way, more in the conservative dynamic. Stereotypically, I think one, not super open about it or whatever, but that's very much a core of how they think and believe about things, and scriptures and the Christianity, their Christian beliefs, and one grandpa's probably more talkative than the other, but I don't know. That's a good start. I really haven't I don't think I've ever talked about them, thought about that, and tried to break that down before. I don't know. Was that stir any thoughts in you?
It does actually. What it brings me to is that in Britain, the grandfathers were disconnected and traumatized by war. So we have a whole generation there of people, men, that do not have that because they never had a father, their father died or was in severe post-traumatic shock.
Or just the world, the cultural trauma at the time in the morphogenic field of that actually happening, just the same way with COVID now. It has put the world, Pluto's in retrograde every 200 years. The world is changing right now. So the world is in cultural, like Angela, that before we went on our trip in the East Coast, that I saw the Earth and the sphere and the grid pop around it and everything was reshifting because now everybody doesn't know what to do. And the life has changed for people in America. It's changed. The business impacts are going to be rolling in, whatever that looks like, or major changes in the financial system to help that or alleviate that or cancel that or whatever happens. But we're in a total world shift right now. So that would happen back then. Now this we're believing is going to land positive, even if there's certain catastrophes or dynamics that happen. Overall, this is a positive collective shift as we come through this and out of this, and exponentially for some, less so for others, but definitely that way forward. With then, it ended very poorly. Right, a lot of the stuff got shut down. Systems of domination control came in big time after that. It just went really poorly. So I've seen the shock and the trauma to my parents and my dad particularly, but of when believing, just my perception of this, that his soul came in during the time of the 60s, and I knew him and the stories of his life and the way he was radical even within what he believed, and he really valued critical thinking and certain things, and the value that we understand that. And one of the comments he made, my brother told me, I totally forgot he said this, or I didn't know he said this, but he'd said it to my brother a few times, that one of the things he was really proud of before he passed away was that he knew he was at least leaving behind 3 kids who could critically think and think for themselves.
That's it.
I thought that's pretty awesome, Dad. And I think when the everything went the negative way, his soul was in shock and never unlocked and awakened in the way it was hoping and planning to. And so there's a lot of despair there, a lot of, him very much connecting with me, even in my spiritual growth, and being exhilarated by it. Even when I went outside and beyond the Christian faith, he was still very exhilarated by it and our connection. And I think there's a deeper soul connection that he's seeing, being able to be awakened inside of me, but it just was too late. It was past the time of awakening, kind of like the Matrix, right? And that's okay. It has nothing to do with his soul. It's just that as Avatar here and his experiences. So my sorry, go ahead, Rocio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, please.
Yeah. Okay. What I see in these things, and I was thinking, is for example, in people that immigrate to other countries, they begin to, when they are in the other country growing up or were born there, when the kids look for their own roots, looks like there is no roots because the parents move from one country to the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
they arrive to this new place, result that there is no roots, means grandfather, grandmother, and historical way, these old generations happen. For example, a lot here in Mexico. There are a lot of people that going to United States to work. Okay, so they wasn't born there, but the kids
Okay.
that they have born in United States, but they are no gringos, let's say, but they are no Mexicans anymore too.
Yeah.
So what happened? They are flying. They don't have roots to follow it.
Same
And
in the UK. Second generations.
exactly, in Europe happen a lot. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happened? And I tell you this because I received groups from United States, from different universities, to the Temazcal and do some activities, And
Yeah.
some of them were born in United States, of course, but maybe the fathers too, or maybe the grandfathers just arrived to United States. What happened when they arrive here? And I show them these traditional things, ceremonies. They cry
Mm.
because they discovered that they don't have
Yeah.
any roots there.
Yeah.
The real ones are here. Or maybe the grandfathers and grandmothers stay in Mexico and just the fathers living. Like my daughter, for example. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's living in Utah with my two grandson and daughter, but
Yeah.
really the roots are here in Mexico
Yeah.
from motherline, for example, right? So they
I
are
think
disconnected in some way. And these things, there are don't know, like they are flying, they are floating because they don't have these roots too. This is
yeah.
important for our grandmothers and grandfathers too.
So I think
This is fascinating.
okay.
Can I
Yeah.
just extend this out to the level of
Do
soul
it.
family migrations and this disconnection
Okay.
of the family
Yeah.
through migration?
Yeah.
Because this affects families
Exactly.
directly.
In everything. So what happened in United States? They don't have roots, but they don't know their own roots because they don't come into Mexico to know their roots.
Yeah.
So when they come in and watch the traditional things, and they come in to see the grandfather and grandmother, and they leave this family stuff, they begin to miss behind, yeah, in some way, something that they never lived before, yeah. So this connection, yeah, brings them sometimes psychological problems,
Yeah. Absolutely. When I began to go, and I get what you're talking about visiting, I would call sites of power or sites of ancestry, right? The physical sites on the earth of your ancestry. And like the tour I did with Angela, it turned out that we flew into New York and then went down through Pennsylvania and then over into Ohio. And I, like a day before I left, or the day before I left, or the day I left or something, my brother emailed me his DNA report, ancestry.com or something. It showed the path of our ancestors, and it was literally the same path that me and Angela drove when they came into New York from Germany, and they actually went through Germany and some other countries, other ancestry, but they came down through New York and Pennsylvania into Ohio and settled in Ohio, exactly the same route Angela and I went to. And we stopped and did ceremony along the way at different places, and I played my flute and did some other things to give offerings to my ancestors. And there was major soul integration, and it was just really powerful to literally re-walk and be on the land and connect with plant medicines and different things on the land across that journey and going. And so I've done that. And when we were in Barbados, connecting with the land, there was a cave, and their caves there are unique, I believe, because they're made of coral, the whole thing. And excuse me. And we went down to we had a private awesome tour guide, and so we weren't on like the trams, the main tourist stuff. We were actually hiking through, and there's like this really cool mud stuff, and like anyway, we're down at a cavern that most people don't get to see, and it was I don't know, big as a decent size, and there's a big hole in the top with a waterfall coming out. And I
Wow.
remember being in the water, and Angela was there. She saw. I remember being under the waterfall, and I actually had some crystals with me that I asked if I could to take down with me. I had a half a dozen bags of the same crystals I put in different places along my trip, and so I dove under and placed those there and prayed over them, and then came up by the waterfall and was just crying and sobbing and could feel like it was almost like each water drop was a crystal, like a shard. It kind of hurt. And then I saw like this crystalline technology just like fixing things in my DNA and just crying. And so I don't know, something with especially the grandfathers or the men being able to experience sites of power because we don't have a womb in the same way, to actually go to those physical ancient sites to reconnect our maybe our mitochondrial matriarchal DNA.
And the Temazcal is one of the things or tools that we are using for that, because the interesting thing is these people that are receiving from different universities, they are studying psychology. This is a ironic stuff in some way, yeah. So what I do is reconnect them with their old roots, yeah. Make a little thing, and they go into their countries, but they feel different. All of them, these beautiful letters that they write me and say, I feel different, but I feel very well because now I accept my own culture, but I know my roots. You know, that's beautiful. So this is the other thing that we are gonna do in the Temazcales in Glastonbury. Exactly, this is one of the things. Is reconnecting people with their own roots, discovering their own roots through the Temazcal. That's a tool.
Thank you for saying that. I just love you saying that. Now, here's an interesting thing. So when we were down in that cave, I had this lump of clay. I love that lump of clay. Now, this was from deep underneath that healing temple. It was an ancient healing temple. And one of those amazing womb places of Earth. And I scraped her cervix. And do you remember? Because I probably made you carry the clay.
You did, yeah. I remember. I didn't remember this additional overlay. This is beautiful. Continue.
Yeah. So people dear to me in my life, in my soul group, touch that clay, and I have that clay to make the tonantzin for the Temazcal.
The bowl, the cup?
The statue. So it's to make a statue. And I transported this clay from Barbados to England, Canada, New York, all around the route that Aaron said, down across to Seattle, down to Malinalco, back to New York, back to Glastonbury.
And you and I were connected for a lot of that. The ones you didn't get that I got Alaska, all of Alaska with my grandma, mind you, for 10 days. Me and my grandma were in Alaska last year, all visiting her roots and my ancestry. See, I've done so much of that, man. It's crazy.
Wow.
We went through the whole state, man, and for like 10 days, and it was beautiful, just wonderful time with my grandmother. And that's where I found out. Willow said it earlier in the comments. That's where I found out from my grandma, because we all me and my mom and her all really like ice cream, but I never thought about it too much. And I was talking to my grandma about it, about how we all like ice cream. She goes, I know. She goes, I think it solves a lot of problems. Ice cream, right? She was dead serious, right? It's so funny, and I was laughing hysterically, right? It's become a joke now, and she said it again several times. She totally agrees, and it's funny. But we went to Alaska, so I did that extra part that Angela didn't get. I also was down in San Diego near that Marine base, Coronado, or that military base there, whatever. I was there. I've been there several times in the last 2 years. And what else did I get? We're both Barbados. We were all in the same New York stuff. Yeah, because we did a lot of that together. So yeah, I got two other aspects. So we've almost gridded the earth, Ange. We just haven't been to Asia and Russia. Or whatever, really over there. I want to go to Antarctica first.
So your grandma is from that area, from Alaska. Your grandma.
Yes.
And your other family from Germany?
Yes.
Oh.
She's not indigenous Alaska. She's from Alaska. Her parents are, gosh, what are her parents? Portuguese. Like, but they immigrated there also, but they went to Alaska. So that's where she was born and lived a big part of her life.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Alaska. Wow. Yeah. Very, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
I'm in Seattle now, so I have a hard time. I went to Thing of Sites of Power, how physical location affects different people or whatever. But went to visit Zach, my co-host, down in California in Riverside, which is like 100 miles or just an hour outside of LA, whatever that is. So it's not that far from like the main city, but it's far enough. And even though there's some greenery, people have green lawns, and some little greenery, but man, it is dead. It's hot and deserty and dusty. Like, it doesn't have as much greenery as you have there. Wherever you're at, that looks pretty great, even if it's hot in certain places. But like, just hot and dry and just not my thing, man. I grew up around Alaska's in my ancestry. That was beautiful. I grew up in Seattle, Pacific Northwest. Like, I've got just 10 minutes outside the city, I've got mountains and hills, and it's all green all year round, and like, it's beautiful around here. So water's huge to me, like that whole thing. I've got water. I go to the park all the time, or I just go down to the lake just to be there, be by the water. Like, I gotta be near water, man. But we'll see.
So nice, huh? Wow. It's incredible.
You know why? Because like, all the elements are there. You got water, you got earth, all sorts of greenery around. You can build a fire, man, anywhere. And I'll just have fire anywhere, so that's fine. And then and air, the beautiful fresh air of just all the greenery all the time. It's not the Amazon, but it's like, it's pretty great in between that and the city world, which I don't really care for. It just kind of is a part of life right now.
I get what you're saying, because as much as England, Britain is the center of domination and control, or a center of domination and control, when you are in a city or when you are somewhere different, right? It's the green. There are Tom Jones, this Welsh singer, sang about it. The green grass of home, and it really is like that. You come back into the greenery of Earth, and you feel held. And she does that relentlessly, day in, day out.
Yeah, see, that means if I had to go to some desert place for a while, I'd have to find that internally. I'd have to dig deeper to find it internally to connect with Earth. It's so much easier, though, to externally go be around it. You know what I mean? And preferable. It's like, if I was in California, I was thinking about that. If I lived there for a while, man, I'd have to figure out some greenery situation. I don't know. Like, I'd have to figure out something, or be near water. I don't know. But whatever. Deal with that when the time comes. There's a way you can do aquaponics. If you have running spiraled water just through your community, even in a really arid place in general, and you're growing food and you're doing stuff, I think it can be fine. It's just how you construct your community to be really focused around. Yeah. People love to garden and have beautiful places.
That is the pre-Hispanic empire, the Inca. They had all of that going on.
Yeah, cool.
All these different growing methods in line with the earth.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The farming. In fact, Gaddafi was really good at that stuff.
Why is that? That rings a bell. Who's Gaddafi again? Wait, hold on. Muammar Gaddafi? Hold on. Are you talking about the guy from Iraq or something?
Libya.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, back in the day?
Back in the day. Well, recent days.
So he was good. He was good at doing. Well, that was like 2011, I think, right?
Yeah, he had this engineering system figured out, so it would just be able to transport water inland. So the water.
Oh, okay.
The engineering behind it was phenomenal, but
I had no idea.
The Inca were maestros and masters of this.
Cool. Because, see, I could do that, man. Because I could design awesome water features.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, here in Tenochtitlan, yeah, there were a system called chinampas. Okay. So one side of these chinampas was salt water, and the other sugar water. Incredible, right? So they were managed in the way that they looks like the floatant city,
Yeah. Wow.
Here in Tenochtitlan. Used to be like that.
Wow.
Floating city. So the
Wow.
big monuments, Teocalis, and all the temples were like floating. Yeah. And they were like we call chinampas, that thing, they were making agriculture in like Iceland. Yeah. And one side, I tell you, was water, salt water and sugar water, and they were in balance everything. It's a beautiful thing. They have a special hydraulic stuff, like you say that the Incas do, here inside in the center of Tenochtitlan. It's incredible how they know it, all these things. This engineer that they were developed in all South America, from Mexico down. It's like, I don't know. It's and the people doesn't know how they made it, right? Incredible things.
Fascinating. It's that natural harnessing of natural earth energy.
When you come in, I take you to Xochimilco. Xochimilco is still a place that is living in that way. They
Wow.
call chinampas. Yeah.
Love. I'll be
So
there.
there are like channels, like beautiful Venecia, but in Mexico. So there are little houses and the agriculture in some places. So everybody is traveling by a little canoas here in the city.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah. So similar principle for Egypt as well.
Yeah, exactly. They are doing in Egypt too.
This idea of earth husbandry.
I think the ancient peoples in different countries, Egypt, Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Titicaca, all that stuff, they used to connect always the elements, and they live with them all the time, the earth, the mother earth with the water through the rivers. Yeah. All the big civilizations were built exactly one side of the rivers. Yeah. Sumerians, Babylon, yeah, between rivers, close to the rivers. So they were always like taking care of these elements and be very, of course, it's life, water is life, yeah. But the big civilizations were exactly like combining these things, these elements that were very important. Yeah, I think it's part of. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and now, well, it's another thing, yeah. But anyway, that's the point, sweetie.
Yeah. Fascinating. Well, we will in future do
Yeah,
various docu-programs about lots of things coming up regarding women's work and this subject.
yeah,
The more we can become aware of how the ancient systems work, then maybe we can implement that knowledge instead of ignoring it and superimposing it.
oh yes. And in the moment that we reconnect our roots, yeah, that give us more support for the next things. It doesn't matter that we are in another country or whatever. The thing is that we have a root. Yeah. Usually, this is a very interesting thing in Mexico. The little, how do you call the bottom belly when you are born and they cut the little piece? We call ombligo. How do you say?
Umbilical cord.
Okay. Again?
Umbilical.
Umbilical?
Umbilical.
Yeah, but there is a little piece that take you when they cut the umbilical. Yeah, there is a little one that stay here in the bottom belly, and then when this dry is falling down. Okay, so yeah, in Mexico they used to bury that under a place where the grandfather and grandmother lives. Under the
Oh.
tree, in the way that you don't forget your roots.
Oh, my grandmother did that in London. My Irish grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in
I've
the way
had,
that
friends.
you forget your roots.
Yeah, they put it under the tree. The only problem is the dog dug it up. That was the family story, that the dog ate
I've
birth.
friends and of other people who do. They'll do that, and they'll use it for the soil to plant a tree that year.
Yeah.
And so then that tree is always on your ancestors' land. So anytime, I mean, ideally the land you stays in the ancestor, you can visit it, and property doesn't get sold or whatever. But even if it does, your roots are literally on that land, and that tree will continue to grow, and you can always come back to it too and access that energy.
The thing is the Polynesians, at least in New Zealand, I know, they threw it to the sea. So why? Because they are very good sailing in the sea. It's interesting, right? To be a good sailor. Yeah. They threw it to the ocean to be a good sailor. It's interesting. Each culture have their own ceremonies.
Well, I'm just trying to think how it would affect them as a culture. I mean, if you're giving your ancestry to the sea, you're going to be more in tune with the water elements of the earth. But if you're not balancing that out with fire or other things, maybe, I guess they're burning it. So that's two. And then the wind. I don't know. So it's everything. That's interesting because the sea is its own thing.
Yeah.
I actually, here's an interesting question. Here's an interesting question to ask the two of you. What about the sea? The sea is 75% of our world, give or take. That the highest mountains don't even reach the depths of the sea, and there's sea worlds and sea. I mean, there's all sorts of things I've been exposed to. That there's a reality that goes on in the sea that is probably more pertinent than what's going on here in a lot of ways. We're just not aware of it yet. But like, well, what's going on there, and how does that affect what's going on here?
How affects, you say? Well, good question. Let me think about it.
Please, tune in.
It's the feeling I get that I'm just going to, while you perceive it, I'm just going to go with what I feel.
Yeah.
It is a feeling of balance and harmonious flow and action. Now, my arms feel like that, and it's a dance of the waters. So there's no pushing, no pulling, it's just flow. And that is ancient from the Pacific. It's that expression of earth through her waters. So the woman expresses the dance of the sacred waters of earth. Now, when you layer that with harmony and pressure and density, you've got this continual movement here. So when you combine that to planetary activity, cosmic activity, wave spell activity, you have this continual flow. That's what I feel from you saying that in that moment.
Interesting. There is a song that I sing. Yeah. As give me a second and I bring them a I want to sing in Spanish, but I tell you, it's about this answer. Just a minute.
Great. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. I thought I saw a cat passing by on her screen earlier.
I don't know. I start counting cars being passed by. Maybe it'll be a magic number, I'm sure. Will said the sea is always moving in a state of constant evolution.
Yeah.
There you are. This is in Spanish, but I explain you because it's the answer, okay?
Fantastic. I'll receive it. That language.
Voy caminando en la noche, solamente la luna me guía. Voy caminando en la noche, solamente la luna me guía. A cada paso me adentro en el bosque, voy convirtiéndome en mi sombra. A cada paso me adentro en el bosque, voy convirtiéndome en mi sombra. Busco en la tierra el origen y en el agua la memoria. Busco en la tierra el origen y en el agua la memoria. Busco en el aire la inspiración y en el fuego mi corazón. La ira, 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 la. This song talk about that I'm walking under the light of the moon. And each time that I walk in the little forest, I see my own shadow. But I'm looking in the earth, in the Tonantzin, my origin. And in the water, my memory. In the wind, my inspiration. And in the fire, my heart. Yeah. So everything is connected. We know that through the ceremonies of water, we can remember things. We can program a water for something that we want, to remember something. We can program a water like a medicine that we need in the mornings. We can program the water for something that we want to remember, that ancient memories that we don't remember in the moment, or from our ancestors, no? But at the same time, we look in the earth, our origin. Yeah, our origin in the chemical stuff in our body is why we say grandmother, because in chemical stuff, we have the same elements as the Mother Earth, exactly the same. But the energy, the spirit, and the soul is other thing. Yeah, this is only the covering that we use it to live in this dimension. Yeah, and we use everything that we have around to live, to take from them the energy to survive in this moment. So maybe it's not exactly the answer, but it's the way to connect everything, you know?
I don't know. I'd say that was pretty much exactly the answer. That was pretty great. It's in your charge of my Waterways, said it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can program every morning. Yeah, you take like this, your tea, your coffee, your juice, whatever it is, you can program. Yeah.
I like to leave like water, juices, or whatever, anything I'm programming, a little bit of it left in when I add new to it, or add that to the new stuff. So it's like waves. So as that wave of frequency that I'm putting in slowly, because I'm adding to the new ones, a new wave starts. So there's always like overlapping waves because I'm adding the old to the new each time.
Yeah, it's incredible. So it's the work that I'm doing in the Temazcal exactly. Reconnect you with all the elements because they are in our service, but at the same time they are our friends in some way. So to survive here, we need from them, and they are here. If we ask help from the fire, from the earth, from the rain, from everything, it's coming.
Yeah.
They answer. I have a connection with the fire, yeah, and I talk with the fire.
And speak with the birds.
Yeah, too.
It's magic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The place where I am is full of birds in the morning, you know, and I put some water and they come in to drink from the little sun that I put for them.
No? Rocio, when you talk to the fire, what is the fire? Is the fire different for you every time, or is there something every fire? How do you connect with the fire usually?
When I'm doing the temazcales, and when the fire we are preparing the temazcal, and another times when I make other kind of ceremonies with fire, you know. ceremonies of to receive the fire. I make circles of people that they have to take care in their own thing that we call saumador. They have to take care of their own fire from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a big work. It's incredible and strong work, but you connected to the fire because more or less at 3:30 in the morning, your level of consciousness is somewhere else. So you connected with the fire.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds
the idea
wonderful.
is, I would like to make ceremonies of that where you are, for example. We're going with Angela, to
Count
do it.
me in. Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
On that note, actually, Rossio, I feel and sense your expansiveness, right, in this moment. Can you talk more about how to harness the cosmic fire through the fire? How we can integrate that into our system to
Yes, I'm talking this ceremony. I'm talking in this ceremony.
Yeah, can you give an example of a journey, maybe a mini journey? Tell us a story.
So this kind of ceremony is about how you are keeping your fire. Your fire in that moment represents your own life, but at the same time represents your connection inside with the universe, with the cosmic, and you bring all that energy. Is why is the night should be in the night, because you know that in the nights all the energies change. And open portals too. Cosmic portals.
What with the Kin Maya, Ross or something, and you just said it. The portals in the night, and I know when we did my reading, I'm trying to remember now because it was a lot of information, but I know one of them was about the night and the blue in the night and intuition, and then I know also one of the special things was the sunset for me. And ever since we had that reading, I've actually probably the majority of nights, especially the last like week or 8 days or so, 7 or 8 days, like I've been able to see the sunset almost every last like 10, 15 minutes, be able to stare into the sun and watch it go down all the way down to, most of these nights. And I see this conical rainbow pulsing wave light that comes from it.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. I feel most people probably see it if they looked at it. Most people are told not to look at the sun, but like when it gets to it, you can start like 2 or 3 minutes before it goes down or whatever works. Like you don't want to, for me, when I'm leaving that green spot in my eye for too long, I don't do it that long. I try to do it the balance in between, but I've been able to work up to, and I believe all humans are supposed to be able to stare at the sun all day long and get their energy as needed. I believe that's normal. I believe that's very normal that we're supposed to, based on research and other texts I found and things, but that we're not, obviously we can't do that yet. I think there's a lot of things in neurology that are traumatized or blocked off, or things we dissociate from, or who knows, trauma, just physical ailments. And so, but eventually we'll be able to do that. So, but doing the sunset's my question. What's so special about the sunset? Can you explain that to me more, like the value of the sunset, especially my connection to it?
Not for everybody is the point,
Okay.
Each Kin Maya has different moments of the night, of the day. Yeah. So the sunset represents in some way some energy that already was working through the day, Yeah. So this is a very special time, because in the ancient times they believe that the day finishes exactly where the sun is gone. Yeah. And they're going to sleep or die the sun. Okay. That means that make this trip. This is interesting because there are some ancient draws that says the sun when it's up is alive, and when they're going down, going to the infra world, down there, to live another kind of experiences, the dark, the night experiences. So each step of the sun represents different kind of things, So for the Jewish people, for example, it's the moment when they chant, sing the Shema, They say thank you for the day. They say thank you for this thing. And in the morning, there is again the Shema to receive the new sun. Yeah. So, and this is other thing, very interesting. When the sun is going, they're going from the west, and the west is the place of the the direction of the female energy. Yeah. So it's the connection with the female energy. And the sunrise is a connection with the masculine energy, the new things, the resurrection, the reborn. And the other is just finish something and you go into the cycle of the life again. Death, life. Death, death, life. Yeah. And each people have their own point, their own time.
Yeah.
For me,
their hour of power.
Yeah, exactly, the power one. For example, for me, it's the sunrise, the first rays of the day. For me, so when I want to do a special thing, special pray, special ceremony, that moment for me is like wow, break me, wow, open me the plex, the solar plex, yes, to receive that energy. Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how to know your special point in the day, because it's the moment with your soul and it's the expansion of your soul with your spirit, you know? The expansion of your soul and your spirit touch the universe, the galactic stuff, the cosmic things. It's that moment of that connection. When you are connected with the Mother Earth, but you are connected with the Father Sky at the same time. You make match in your body. You bring the energy from the Mother Earth, but you're receiving the energy from the universe inside your body. So the chemist and everything happen inside of you in that moment.
So actually, you even saying that probably be more beneficial to go down to the water, have my feet in the water on the sand at least, and then at sunset while looking at sunset, because then it's bring that whole connection through me into the earth, through my neurology into my myofascial into my body. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now it's raining. I have to put the computer inside, so I'm gonna be a little outside of the screen. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I like the picture. She's beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna make you do this, Anne, since we're late into the thing, we're on a mini break here. Go to brand on your screen or on your computer, and scroll down. Oh, what's your glass on? Scroll down to the backgrounds category. Keep scrolling almost to the very end. And hit the there. Wait, no, hit the 2-screen one. Almost to the very end. Up one. Hold on. Hit. No, the one that's got three camera screens in it. Oh, sorry, with Rocio. That's right. For keeping her in here. I apologize. I said go to the end. I meant go to the second. There you go. But you did it. You saw me make a mistake and you figured it out before I did. So fantastic. Now you know.
Now I know.
It's funny. I didn't realize, like, 'cause I haven't seen your shows in a while. I've listened to them. I've mostly watched. I haven't seen you do the backgrounds. I didn't know that you hadn't figured it out yet. That's funny. We got the comments figured out. Pulling comments on. Doing great at that.
Totally. I'm just going to give myself a plug here, actually. Come to think of it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was going to say, have you guys seen her multimedia stuff? Angela's got some awesome multimedia stuff that she's put out. They're like really well done. Angela, great.
Thank you. We have a specialist team, a hit squad of multidimensional designers and PR people at our disposal. So we are going to be doing that. So we are in the process of creating No Time Creations. And yeah, it's all happening with the most beautiful images to help people help artists and creators hone their message and get it right in the fifth world of peace, which is different. The whole style of marketing has changed, business has changed, and we offer that solution. It's an art solution.
Well, follow the feminine, man. Follow the mothers and the grandmothers. Sounds good. If you're on board, sounds like it's a good way to go.
Absolutely. So it's been, we're over the 2-hour mark now.
Oh yeah. Whew.
Wow. So
It's a pleasure always to be with you. That's good.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Ange.
So we're planning to go where you are, and we make a log ceremony. You will see beautiful. There are very nice, interesting things to help
Very
each
much
other.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
And Temazcal, we can build a Temazcal where you are. And
yeah, I can't wait.
yeah. Ooh. That will be beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wonderful. So to everyone that's joined us, thank you, Willow. You're always welcome, darling. I love your intuition. You're laser precise. And we're going to set up a bit of a group here. And it will be on Facebook. You can contact me via Women's Work or via Angela Miller or whatever, Concordia. And we will be rolling out a series of classes to assist with this process of transitioning. And it will help your soul to shift its clarity to new levels of focus within yourself, within your journey, and within the data that you perceive and how you perceive it. So it's going to be really fun. I'm going to operate these classes at a very low cost. It would be like £13 or something. And I'll operate them on a weekly or fortnightly basis. And along that journey, we'll be doing various cool things that will help your light body to expand, but also help your soul to grow in complete alignment with who you are, what you're here to do, and hopefully provide the roadmap for you to go forth and do it.
Awesome.
That'll be an additional, that's just beautifully materialized out of this evening. So yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you both for coming on. Both of you are dear to me.
Thank you.
And I'm very grateful for you coming on to this full podcast. And check back here for more fabulous broadcasts of all different kinds that will expand your understanding and knowledge of consciousness, yourself, who you are, what you're doing here, and why you're doing it, which is really important.
Oh, and since I'm actually on our show at the end, I'll make a shameless plug. In our show, Expand Understanding, 8 p.m. Pacific. I don't know. That's like 4 a.m. your time, though, Ange. A little far ahead, but that's on Monday. Right now, Mondays, Wednesday, Fridays, Saturdays, and that's there too. Yeah,
we do, and we also have the lovely Gently Healing. What time is that?
That's Fridays at 6, so like 2 a.m. your time, 6 p.m. 6, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, right? I think it's 6. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern.
And very soon, the lovely Rossio. You can probably tell I'm sort of, leaving her to do her thing and expand her growth and awareness, because she's going to be coming on board with us and doing a show in Spanish.
Awesome.
Oh, that would be nice. Yes, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Angela, you got to figure out the brands and all this stuff so that you can teach Rossio.
I know.
Then she can teach people in Spanish. Then we got somebody in Spanish on board. She can teach people in 2 languages.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Languages, that would be great.
Yeah.
We need to bridge the gap, but also for the people in the US.
Yeah, because they speak Spanish there. A lot of people that speak Spanish there too.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's perfect. I love you guys.
Yeah, love you too.
Thank you for being there.
Yay. Thank you very much, everybody. And I shall end this broadcast accordingly.
Okay.
And eventually.
Yeah. It's all going on out there, I can tell
Which
you.
finds the button?